most powerful being on planet Earth.
We finally meet.
Now, as planned.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a big weekend for us comic nerds. Superman is dropping, and the early reviews are in, and the critic scores and the Rotten Tomato scores and the audience scores are all above 85. But am I convinced? My audience knows I'm a hardcore comic fan across the board. I even go beyond comics into He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers, the whole nine. Let me explain to you my bias because I haven't seen it yet. And hopefully by the end of this video, I will convince myself to be happy to go see it. Let's go.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
You in the building, all knowing, all loving, all feeling sexy as hell, Mont. And we're going to talk Superman, what I'm expecting, what my biases are, and what the critics are currently saying. For those of you that haven't joined my political channel, you can go there from this link right here. You can get any of the podcasts I'm on via this link. You can get a newsletter. You can check out my IMDb as I'm trying to build a career as a writer and a producer. And you can listen to the Claremont Show where I team up with Claire and Politics of Being Black. This movie, from what I'm hearing, has a lot of political entails into the details. Now, for some of you who've never read comic books or never been to comic movies in the past or even seen cartoons, comic books always tend to have somewhat of a political leaning because they're dealing with people who have extraordinary powers and they're willing to flex those powers. And sometimes people flex those powers in the bad way. I've got two examples of people that I completely trust with their movie reviews because they have my same movie DNA. I'm going to let you hear what they had to say, and then we'll break something down. So let me go to the white delegation. My man, John Campea. Check out his YouTube channel. This is what he had to say after seeing the movie. There's really no spoilers in this, so don't be worried. It's just kind of leading up to what I'm going to say is my bias about Superman.
People like Superman. It just is what it is. There are going to be some people out there that try to paint a narrative that it's divisive. It's not divisive. Clearly, like any movie, there are going to be people that do like it and don't. There's going to be some people that don't like it. Movies are art. Art is subjective. It hits us all in different ways. There are going to be some people that don't like the film, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't buy into anybody trying to pitch you a narrative that this movie is divisive.
Yeah.
96% ain't divisive.
5 to 6%. Come on. You're just loud.
Yeah. 60 to 40 is divisive. 55 to 45, that's divisive. 85%, 96% is not divisive. But
you understand what I'm saying? He makes a great point. Now, who might you say is out there painting this narrative that this movie is divisive? It's woke. The fucking MAGA soy boys. Because everything that they taught you in school growing up, we've all learned that the GOP and these white MAGA soy boys and some of the women that support them too have been lying to you about they believe in America, truth, justice, the American way, which is supposed to be democracy, independence, freedom. All that shit was a lie. And it's taken until we get to Donald Trump before they pull the scab off and show us the inside of their red meat. And now that we can see the red meat, they want to tell us that that red meat is blue, that what we're seeing is not happening. So yeah, you're going to hate this movie, MAGA, because Superman stands for all the ideas that you used to tell us you stood for that you don't stand for now. So it is going to rub you the wrong way. What I'm hearing, Superman and his integrity as a character is the best part of this movie. How he has such a great moral compass and integrity, and he has these great powers, and all of us comic book fans know this line. With great power comes great responsibility. And Superman wields that. He's kind of like DC's Captain America, excuse me, when it comes to the moral compass. And so for my black delegation, let me go to my black reviewer, my blurred, my brother, Brandon Keith Avery, Just My Opinion Reviews, so that you can kind of get some of what he's saying about the film and what he thinks it's going to do. And I think my views tend to line up closer to his. His link is in description too. Take a look.
So not only is this another superhero comic book film adaptation, this is arguably the most popular superhero of all time. Did it deliver, or is it a massive disappointment? Let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is Just My Opinion. This is Superman. This is coming in at 2 hours and 9 minutes, rated PG-13, described as superhero, action, adventure, and science fiction. Of course, this is being directed by Mr. James Gunn. This is what the gentleman looks like right here. You've heard of him. He did Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. But when I saw that James Gunn was creating a new universe in DC, and this not being an origin story, like we get Green Lantern and Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman and Mr. Terrific and all these other characters that I've never heard of before, I was like, you know what? Let's do this, okay? Let's approach this in a different way that we've never done before. And I was on board, and I was just saying to myself, I mean, I just couldn't imagine it being bad. I really couldn't. My expectations were through the roof. And so, yeah, and here we are. Now, I cannot give this movie above a 7 out of 10 right now. And that's fine. That's a good rating, a 7 out of 10. I don't think it deserves a 6 or a 6.5, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I may raise it to a 7.5 or lower it to a 6.5 if I see it again and catch some things that I missed the first time. But it's a good movie. Good. I don't want to say it's a great movie. It's a good movie. It's not trash. It's not garbage. Unfortunately, this Superman is just not my version of Superman. Now, I'm not saying that it's an inaccurate version of Superman, but there's so many versions of Superman, and this is just not the version for me. And I felt that way with Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson. Wasn't a bad Batman movie. It just, wasn't my cup of tea, and that's fine.
Shout out to the good brother, Just My Opinion Reviews. His link is in the description. Go check him out. He comes in feeling the way my bias feels going into this movie. I tend to not like my superhero movies too goofy. I tend to like them to have a more serious tone. And I am a fan of James Gunn's work with Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of people love the third one. I didn't like that one as much. My favorite one was the first one. And he did a pretty good mix of comedy, not too goofy, not too weird, with the element of danger and real stakes in the game in that first Guardians, to me. Movies are subjective. Everybody has their nitpicks and things that they like. But at the end of the day, there are some consensus across the board on things that you must have in a movie. And that's what I'm speaking to. My bias going into this movie is everything I've seen from the trailers. I'm a little nervous it's going to be too goofy. I'm a little nervous about how they're going to share screen space with everybody that looks to be in this movie. You've got Hawk Girl. She, I love that actress. She was just in HBO's, the zombie movie, Last of Us, zombie show, Last of Us. And she also played Dora the Explorer. Big fan of her. I like Hawk Girl. If y'all don't know who Hawk Girl is, she's from a planet called Thanagar. They're supposed to have some of the most strongest metals in all the universe, kind of like their version of Wakanda's lifeblood. And she's super strong, and they believe in hawks, and they grow wings. That's her thing. Guy Gardner is playing Green Lantern, and this Guy Gardner is a goof troop, but an a-hole. And that, to me, it looked very goofy. So that was the part I was worried about. And then you got Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Fantastic, who, for some reason, I think he's going to be a good part in this movie. I can just feel it in my bones. You've got Lois Lane. This was the girl from the Amazing Miss Maisel, Marvelous Miss Maisel, excuse me. I like her in Miss Maisel, so I think I can like her in this, playing Lois Lane. And then we get to Mr. Corn Sweat. Let me put him up here on the screen. Mr. Corn Sweat is taking over some big shoes. And in all the trailers, you see him putting his boots on. I guess kind of relating to the day of the common man having to put his boots on and go to work, just lace them up, grab his lunch pail, go out there and do the work of the people. He's coming behind Christopher Reeves, a couple of other Supermans, and the real footsteps he's following is Henry Cavill, who I really loved as Superman. I didn't like Man of Steel at first, but I watched it 2 more times and I said to myself, what the hell was I thinking the first watch? Because that movie was great. But what gets on my nerves is whenever they reboot these heroes, they always got to do a new origin story. And like, man, F that. And I was worried that that was something that they were kind of doing in this movie. And then just through hearing some of the pre-reviews, they didn't do that. So that makes me feel better. And there are some reviews that are saying it's not as goofy as I'm anticipating it to be. But then I've heard some reviews where they say it is pretty goofy. And so Corn Sweat playing Superman is going to have to do a lot of work to wash the taste of Henry Cavill out of my mouth so that I can move on and start trying to enjoy him as the new Man of Steel. And now one integral part of this movie that I always joke, white people tend to love these better than black folks, and nowadays Hispanic folks, is dogs. There are whole people, and it's only been women I've heard say this, not saying men ain't doing it too, but there have been whole people that say they come into the movie just to see the damn dog. Again, I do a political channel. My other political channel, just go to this, beacons.ai/politics of being black, and you can get my political commentary. That new YouTube channel I'm doing on politics in 3 weeks has grown to almost 4,000 subscribers. So go check it out, bringing the heat. But people literally are going in here to see the dog. Crypto has a place in the film, but I would definitely say that the people that are just going specifically to see the dog, some of them I would think are more your casual fans. Maybe they don't know the whole lure of Superman, Kara, his cousin. And if I'm not mistaken, Crypto's really Kara's dog, if I'm not mistaken. But I hope that what they do with Crypto is not just product placement for the ASPCA, not just product placement for pedigree dog food, not just product placement for toys. If you're going to put them in here and you're going to bring them out, at least let him have some kind of role or give him a sweet payoff in this film. Because usually, sometimes dogs can bring people together. So when I hear MAGA folks complaining about it's divisive, I'm thinking to myself, a dog is a big part of this movie. And you're saying it's divisive? You're saying it's too woke? You mean to tell me that truth, honor, justice, and the American way is now woke? So what should Superman been doing? Should he have been Lex Luthor in this movie? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. And the further we get into what I'm expecting to see in this movie, I do expect this thing to be visually stunning. I'm expecting that. I can't wait to see this scene right here where Ultraman and Lex Luthor are getting ready to walk into the Fortress of Solitude where Superman calls home. I can't wait to see this fight. When Superman obviously got his butt beat, look at his black eyes. He comes back and he unloads on this dude with a right hand. My man's coughing up teeth. I hope there's a tooth fairy around for him. He's about to get paid. And then we got this. It looks like Superman is going to get it on with Green Lantern. And I've seen several cartoons where Superman fought Green Lantern. Green Lantern was no match for Superman. And I think they played that pretty right. So I'm wondering, are these two going to really get into a decent fight or what? And shout out to this gentleman for wearing his hair like that. I mean, he looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but I think that for this role is working for him. And I can admire that. And I'm looking forward to seeing this because the pure agony on this man's face as he's soaking up all those sun rays to help himself heal. If you don't know the DC lure, the yellow sun that we have on Earth in our galaxy give Superman and all his people the powers that they have. If you put them somewhere where they have red sunlight, that makes them weak. And so right here, I'm just begging, what could have beat his ass so bad that he's got to come in here and let out this howl as if he just got his last nut before he kicks the bucket, shrilling in pain? I just got to know. And so, having said those things, I'm going to see this movie twice. I'm probably going to be doing about 2 or 3 full reviews once I've seen it. I know I'm going to be doing one with L. Diane. I think I'm going to be doing one with Alexis from TikTok. I might even be able to jump in on one with B. Avery and E-Man if I can get the time in there. But I'm going to go into this thing feeling a little better. The bias I was having about it being too goofy, maybe too much comedy, that it takes away from the stakes being there. I'm starting to feel a little better about that with these reviews, especially with B. Avery giving it a 7, because he pulls no punches, okay? You get into a fight with him, your ass is going to be Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson on the end of his career. You going down. And I trust him. I trust John Campea. But I know Superman as a hero hits a little different for white America than it does black America. But when it comes to all my comic book content and my TV content, my brother B. Avery has my film and TV DNA. He's never let me down. And so having said that, I think you should definitely go see it and then squad back up with me later on this week. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Join me. You can get all of Lamont on this beacons.ai/politics of being black. You get to see my IMDb. You get my Claremont podcast. You get my Politics of Being Black podcast. You get the Politics of Being Black YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. All of it is in one place. And you can get the newsletter. So whenever crazy things hits the world of news, I can usher them out to you in only the way that I can. And until that next sexy as hell review video coming up real soon, I'll see you.